Erik ten Hag's time at Man United might be over, as Gary Neville very worried. Gary Neville doesn't believe the future looks bright for Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. Gary Neville fears that Erik ten Hag is suffering a breakdown that has been common near the end of Manchester United managers' reigns since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Ten Hag looks increasingly likely to be axed this summer as Sir Ratcliffe and INEOS weigh up whether to make a fresh start as part of sweeping changes at Old Trafford. Saturday's underwhelming 2-2 draw at AFC Bournemouth extended United's current run of woeful results to just one win in their last 7 Premier League games. The visitors trailed twice at the Vitality Stadium but were rescued by captain Bruno Fernandes, who scored a brace on either side of half-time. Aston Villa's 2-0 victory at Arsenal on Sunday effectively squashed United's chances of a top-4 finish this season, opening up a 15-point gap with only a handful of games remaining. England could receive 5 Champions League spots if they finish second in the coefficient ranking this term. However, 5th-place Tottenham Hotspur lead United by 10 points. The Red Devils' slump has seen them sink to 7th, with Newcastle United moving ahead on goal difference after beating Spurs 4-0 at the weekend. And Neville is worried that the signs of Ferguson's failed successors are rife again, stressing his amazement at how low his former club are reaching in games. "There's nothing more to say, we've seen it all before, it is a repeat of what we've seen over the last 6, 7, 8 years, Neville told Sky Sports. Managers in their second seasons, third seasons sometimes at Manchester United where there seems to be that sort of breakdown at the end. The main thing is the performance levels. We've seen at Brentford, we've seen at Bournemouth, they are really low performance levels, which is the biggest worry. But it is a sort of bizarre experience watching United play in terms of how bad they can get to in games." Later, on the Gary Neville podcast, the 49-year-old claimed that things weren't going to get better for Ten Hag's side in the Premier League this season. He accused the Dutchman's players of giving up, particularly in away games, which may lead to a disappointing campaign fizzling out, potentially outside of the European spots. Neville added that it is likely FA Cup or bust for Ten Hag ahead of Sunday's semi-final against Coventry City at Wembley. However, lifting the famous trophy didn't save Louis van Gaal in 2016. Gary Neville delivers damning Manchester United verdict after spotting worrying trend. Sky Sports pundit Gary Neville has criticised Man United's players for their showings away from home and raised doubts over Erik ten Hag's future. Former captain Gary Neville believes Manchester United's players are guilty of switching off away from home following another drab performance in Saturday's 2-2 draw with Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. United extended their winless run in the Premier League to 4 matches after twice coming from behind to earn themselves a point. Bruno Fernandes netted twice, scoring either side of half-time, to cancel out goals from Dominic Solanke and Justin Kluivert. United's performance was once again uninspiring, meaning their hopes of securing Champions League qualification are all but gone. They are now 13 points behind 4th-placed Aston Villa with just 6 games left to play. United's only hope of salvaging something from this season is winning the FA Cup, in which they face Coventry City in the semi-finals at Wembley this coming Sunday. Failure to win the competition could spell trouble for manager Erik ten Hag. As a result, Neville does not believe United's performances in the league will improve between now and the end of the campaign next month, questioning the performances of the players on the road. "They have to win next weekend," said Neville, speaking on the Gary Neville podcast. "The season would be completely over if they didn't. Erik ten Hag, I think, has got to look at this season now as being a season whereby he could finish his first 2 seasons at Manchester United with 2 trophies in the bag, winning 1 in each season, and obviously he has still got a chance of that. That should never be sniffed at because in years gone by, you always said if you won a trophy a season you were okay. I don't think there is anything left to say about some of the league performances that we are witnessing and some of the things that we are watching. The tweaks, the relikes and the body language, all that stuff, we have said it so many times before. There is no point going over that again. What we can say is that Ten Hag's future is largely dependent on the FA Cup, because the performance levels in the league have gone. They are like this and they are not going to change now. What we're seeing from United is what we're going to get for the rest of the season. The players have almost, in some ways, I think, switched off in the league away from home at times. At home they turn it on because they have to, as there are 75,000 people there who won't allow them to sort of get away from it. Manchester United transfer news live. Alejandro Garnacho latest and Erik ten Hag updates. All the very latest Man United news, views and transfer updates from the foot sphere. Manchester United's hopes of securing Champions League qualification for next season were all but ended on Saturday after they drew 2-2 with Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. Twice tasked with coming from behind, United, who were second best, earned a share of the spoils via a Bruno Fernandes brace. He lashed in a close-range volley for his first goal of the game before dispatching a coolly taken penalty to double his tally after the break. Despite that, United ended the weekend lower in the Premier League table than they started it, albeit on goal difference. Newcastle United's 4-0 win over Tottenham Hotspur in Saturday's lunchtime kickoff means they now occupy 6th with 6 games left to play. It means United are now locked in a battle to secure qualification for either the Europa League or the Europa Conference League qualification. Qualification for either of those two competitions would represent a backwards step. Nevertheless, focus now switches to this weekend's FA Cup semi-final against Championship side Coventry City at Wembley. The FA Cup represents United's last hope of salvaging something from this season. Ten Hag deals with Garnacho after social media activity. Erik ten Hag has dealt with United winger Alejandro Garnacho personally after he liked 2 posts on social media criticizing the United boss. Garnacho liked 2 comments made by a YouTuber on social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, following Saturday's 2-2 draw with Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. Garnacho was substituted at halftime and was replaced by Ahmad. United interested in Gyökeres. According to a report by HITC, United are showing an interest in signing Sporting Lisbon striker Victor Gyökeres ahead of this forthcoming summer's transfer window. The Sweden international is being linked with a plethora of clubs ahead of this summer after scoring 36 goals in all competitions for Sporting so far this season. He is also nearing 20 assists. He joined Sporting from Championship club Coventry City last summer and has developed at a rapid rate of knots. He has a release clause in his contract worth €100 million. It is reported that Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool are also in the mix for his services. United hope Wilcox can put them in a pole position to land Branthwaite. According to a report by The Sun, United hope the likely appointment of Jason Wilcox will boost their hopes of signing Everton defender Gerard Branthwaite. United want to strengthen their centre-back options ahead of next season, and Everton ace Branthwaite is on their radar and is understood to be being monitored. The Reds plan to poach Wilcox from Southampton and install him as their new technical director. It is possible that he could join the club before the end of the season. It is claimed that Wilcox's previous, close working relationship with Branthwaite's agent, David Reeves, could put them in pole position to land the youngster's signature. Some United players delaying decisions on futures as they expect Ten Hag to be sacked. Some members of United's squad are delaying making decisions on their futures as they expect manager Erik ten Hag to be sacked. Following Saturday's 2-2 draw with Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium, United are now 7th in the Premier League table, 13 points shy of the top 4 with just 6 games left to play. It is understood a number of unit players are convinced Ten Hag will not be in charge beyond the end of this season. United's view on Garnacho storm. Alejandro Garnacho could become the latest United player to be disciplined by Erik ten Hag after he liked